Woolpit, England, 1100s. Villagers were preparing for the upcoming local harvest when they were startled by a peculiar sight. A young boy and girl approximately 6 to 8 years of age stumbled into the center of the quiet village. A local herdsman had found them lying in a pit dug to trap wolves. No one recognized the two children, and the nearest settlement was far beyond walking distance for such small children. Their clothing was like nothing anyone had seen before, colorful and uniquely constructed from unrecognizable materials. But what was most startling was the color of their skin. It was green. When approached for questioning, the villagers could sense the children were lost and frightened, but communication was difficult as the two spoke in a language not familiar to the townspeople. They could make out certain words that seemed to have their origins in Latin and French, which helped them to eventually develop the dialogue with the two. The children appeared to be starving, so the village women brought meats and baked goods for them to eat, but the children, even though very hungry, refused to eat the food. Some found the sight of the children frightening and requested they be locked up for everyone's safety. Not knowing what to do with the children, they took them to a nearby barn to sleep for the night. When morning came, the villagers found the children asleep. Having refused the food offered the night before, everyone was baffled when they discovered that the children had broken into the raw beans stored in the barn, stuffing their mouths with as much as they could take until they fell asleep from gluttony. Inexplicably, beans would become the only food the two would eat for the next few months until they acclimated to normal food items, which the children initially called strange. Over the course of a few weeks, the children, through a mix of sign language and the English they had learned, told the villagers of how they became lost. The girl told them she and her brother lived in St. Martin's Land, a place that no one had ever heard of, nor has there ever been any record of its existence. She said that they were searching for one of their father's lambs when they saw it wander into a cave near the river. They followed the lamb into a small cavern. Hearing bells and seeing light at the other end, they followed the corridor until they came out into blinding light, dazed and bewildered. They did not recognize the place, and the sky was far brighter than it ever was in St. Martin's Land. When asked what she meant by that, the young girl explained that in St. Martin's Land, the sky was always what the villagers interpreted as dusk or twilight. The girl explained that while the sky was bright enough to see, there was no sun, a word which the villagers had to teach the pair. When asked why their skin was the color green, she said that everyone's skin was that color where she lived. For the next few weeks, the children, along with the villagers, searched for the opening the children allegedly came through. With no success in finding their way back to their home, a local landowner, Sir Richard Duquesne, took the children into his household to raise them. The boy, who was constantly ill, soon died. The girl survived and eventually lost her green hue and took the name Agnes. As an adult, she married a local official, an ambassador to King Henry II, named Richard Barr, from the nearby town of King's Lynn. It's also said that the current Earl Ferrers is descended from the strange girl through intermarriage. While the story sounds of myth and legend, it is not. The historical record clearly shows that the children did in fact exist. The first historical account was chronicled by William of Newburgh in his published work, The Historia Rerum Anglicarum, History of English Affairs. A second account was offered by Ralph of Coggeshall, who was the sixth abbot of Coggeshall's Abbey in Essex, in his Chronicum Anglicanum, where he also accounts an interview with Sir Richard Duquesne, the landowner who took the children in. The Green Children of Woolpit are still revered by the local community, and to this day are adorned upon their village emblem. While some locals believe the children came through a portal in space and time, others believe that they came from inner Earth, noting the constant twilight of the sky mentioned by the girl. Regardless of their origin, the Children of Woolpit remains one of the most enigmatic stories in history.